Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one lined up for you today. We're going to talk about Michael S. Barr, his recent speech at DC FinTech Week, put out an endorsement, basically an endorsement I'm seeing from the BIS here. It's a great speech. What we're going to take a look at that. We got the SEC subpoenas unlawful conduct, is it? We're going to talk about it. And how about this? $250 XRP? Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're going to go through this pretty quickly here. $976 billion market cap for crypto. Bitcoin, 19,500 plus at the time of recording this video. Ethereum, 1,300. XRP, 47 cents here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done it, check out my sponsor, I Trust Capital. It is the best crypto, gold, silver IRA on the planet. I'm a customer too. Anything that I offer on my channel is because I used it first, liked it so much, and then thought to myself, well, geez, if it was something I'm looking forward to using and want to use and needed, you might want it too. And you may want to check this out for yourself here. Roll over your 401k, TSP, 403b, 457, and more. By the way, they got staking right now for DOT at 9.5%. No monthly fees, 1% transaction fee, I think it is. And you're in business, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get any better than what they're doing. 6 billion in transactions, 175,000 plus accounts created. It is a monster opportunity as it is a company. Make sure you check it out. Nodes are going to dethrone tech giants from Apple to Google. Decentralized systems are slowly putting power back in the hands of developers and users and taking it away from big tech companies. While highly regarded, even at times of writing, Mark Andreessen 2011 landmark essay, Why Software is Eating the World, has proven even more prophetic than it seemed at the time. At the dawn of a decade when software would prove invaluable to nearly every aspect of modern life, Andreessen argued that every company was now ostensibly a software company, whether the company liked it or not. I remember that moment, actually. I do. I really honestly do remember that. Tailoring his argument to many of the companies that were market leaders at the time, his ideas eventually also applied to companies that either hadn't fully defined their markets or didn't even yet exist, but would go on to generate billions in market share, like Uber, Lyft, TikTok, ByteDance, Robinhood, Coinbase, and among several others. If you were going to be a unicorn in the 21st century, software was probably going to be a key part of earning that horn. You know, to speak to this, I've been talking a lot, and the reason I'm reading this article by any stretch here is I've been talking a lot about the fact that decentralization is nothing more than the .com buzzword of this generation, of this iteration of the Internet of Value. Because what I actually see is centralization taking place. Now, whether it's the attempt to create and launch CBDCs, which I believe will ultimately be successful, and to what degree scares the daylights out of me, but it's coming. And so is stablecoins. And if they choose to regulate those to the level of a real confidence and trust like the USD coin, then that is centrally controlling this, what is claimed to be a decentralized world. You're going in and out of it through digital dollars, albeit CBDCs or stablecoins, highly regulated, right? And then to go even further to that point, you have Andreessen Horowitz here backing hundreds, if not thousands of projects in this space, which means they got their hand in almost everything. How decentralized is it really again? And going over into the problem that I believe is going to meet a crossroads with the digital revolution, it is a liquidity crisis around the globe, which existed before the pandemic or plandemic, however you like to say it or think of it. And when you get to the point of understanding that, however it is, we got a money issue, and it's a monetary system issue at this point, and it's systemic. And it's cascading. It is not going to be an isolated event, I don't personally believe. And here we see $1.5 trillion asset manager Credit Suisse CEO to step down in the coming weeks. We know that they just had basically a bailout, a lifeline thrown to them. And in some better news, but not in the best news, shout out to Ratha Comden for this one. Ripple partner Modular will provide financial services for SD Works, an international HR and payroll service provider. Does it use XRP? Probably not. Modular uses RippleNet and press focuses on BACS, BACS, and highlights the modular faster payments connection. Now, he goes on to say here, the reason somebody asked the question here, why would you say that someone uses RippleNet but not XRP? And he gives the greatest answer right here, because we have no confirmed use of XRP by Modular, only RippleNet. Given the BRAC payment connection, which is a misspelling from up there, it should have been BRAC payment connection mentioned in the PR, the press release, I wouldn't expect XRP use unless specifically mentioned, so don't want to speculate on it. But as Ripple has noted, most on-demand liquidity users start with RippleNet, and that's absolutely on the money right there. Let's look at this, because I tell you, this, I believe, is going to be a wave of trouble headed for the SEC. Another great clip from Thinking Crypto and his interview with J.W. Verrett, former advisor to the SEC. Let's take a listen to this clip very quickly.
Over to Gary Gensler. So he needs to be ready for that. And hopefully that will keep some of the excesses that we've seen at the SEC in check.
Yeah, interesting point you bring up, because I interviewed Congressman Tom Emmer multiple times, and he gave a kind of a famous line, I believe a month or two ago, where he said a new day is coming, and he was talking to the SEC enforcement director, and kind of alluding to potentially Republicans, winning the midterms, and then he said having the gavel, they will have the gavel in their hands to then keep regulators like Gary Gensler in check.
Yeah, and there's a few things they can do. One is oversight, subpoenas of emails and such. Unfortunately, what we've heard is that there are staff at the SEC that are using apps like Signal and WhatsApp, like we do, to try to keep our communications private. They're doing the same thing to keep them private from congressional oversight. Now, if they're doing that from a just government ethics and oversight perspective, it's illegal. So hopefully, in that context, and I feel a lot more comfortable with you and me using Signal and WhatsApp to maintain our privacy than I do someone in a government position who should be accountable to the public. But we might see that issue come up in oversight. Another thing that they can do on the Hill is to insert appropriations riders, and we've already seen Mr. McHenry float an appropriations rider to limit the SEC from adopting the new rule that attacks DeFi. It would require all DeFi, all DEXs to register essentially with the SEC in a way that violates freedom of speech, as Coin Center's letter has made the case. So we'll probably see a lot of that next year.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So lots of subpoenas are going to fly all over to Gary Gensler. What we heard is that there are staff at the SEC that are using apps like Signal and WhatsApp like we do to try and keep communications private. In addition, says John Deaton, hopefully Jason Foster from Empower Oversight will send a FOIA request asking about the Signal and WhatsApp nonsense these regulators might be using. I hope Congress sends an inquiry about this unlawful conduct. Listen, it sounds to me, and I am speculating here, but it sounds to me like JW said that like he knows. I mean, he was there. He might have a pretty good idea about what's going on there. Sounds like somebody just threw a dog a bone. Thank you, JW. Michael S. Barr, former Ripple advisor, and the speech he gave at DC FinTech Week, now shared here by BIS, and it's a good one. And look, does it say Ripple XRP? No, but you're going to want to know what it says. Let's take a look at the highlights here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You can breathe a sigh of relief, but let's get here to page 3 where it really starts. Recognizing risk of tokenizing bank liabilities. And let's talk about these two paragraphs right here because of stablecoins. Listen what it says here. Now, this just tells us, and this is validation, I believe, that we're all over this thing because crypto assets have proved to be so volatile. They are unlikely to grow into money substitutes and become a viable means to pay for transactions. However, stable coins, which purport to maintain a stable value, have greater capacity to function as privately issued money. For this reason, they pose specific and well understood risks. Similar to the other types of money-like assets, history has shown that money-like assets are subject to runs that can threaten financial stability. Stablecoins linked to the dollar are a part of particular interest to the Federal Reserve. As Chair Powell said the other day, a central bank is and will always be the main source of trust behind money. Stablecoins borrow that trust, so we have an abiding interest in a strong federal prudential framework for their use. Listen to this verbiage here now. I'm telling you, federal prudential framework. That's pointing to FSOC, baby. Over time, stablecoins could pose a risk to financial stability, and it is important to get the regulatory framework right before they do. And that's the power of FSOC, the Financial Stability Oversight Council, is to act before there is a risk because you see that systemic risk coming. The Fed is working with other regulatory agencies. President's Working Group report on stablecoins that came out about a year ago called upon Congress to take the necessary action to ensure stablecoins, particularly those that serve as a means of payment, are subject to prudential regulation. This is exactly what we've been covering for over 2 years. And we're getting confirmation from a former Ripple advisor, now the VP of the Federal Board of Governors, telling us that we need a strong federal framework for prudential oversight, and regulators must also use existing authorities. This is what we've been talking about. And now the former Ripple advisor, now VP of the Board of Governors, is saying exactly what we've been saying here on this channel. I feel very validated about my speculation about where all of this is going to go. And I think every day we get closer and closer and a greater chance of XRP and maybe even XLM becoming some form of a stable coin or utility token, payment token, something in that neighborhood that doesn't classify as crypto. I think it gets very interesting going forward here. Taking a look very quickly at this is Melinda Rickle, Chief Operating Officer at the Bankers Bank, explains the importance of providing community banks access to instant payments with FedNow service, for which we know Ripple is a partner in participation in that. And it does not mean that they will use XRP, but what it does appear to mean to me that I'd lean into is that it's connecting and moving the domestic liquidity into the digital world of the Internet of Value and digitizing the liquidity of the world so it can be drawn on for large value cross-border payments, hopefully later on with the use of XRP. Listen here.
What we want, and we're grateful to Fed for doing, is allowing us to provide our community banks with the kind of access to the payment system that they would not otherwise have if not for FedNow. I think the need is there. Business customers are aware of it, and they are going to choose their financial institution based on the products and services that that financial institution offers.
And there you have that. Like I said, they don't say Ripple, they don't say XRP, but we know the U.S. Faster Payments Council absolutely is working with Ripple and others, right? Also working with Valente, which is a Ripple partner as well. This is getting very, very interesting because it is obvious now they are moving to this final journey, this final place of this digitized new payment world to reduce the friction of the world. And I think ultimately, if they're going to do that, you're going to need to introduce a bridge currency like XRP. You could even call it a global stablecoin if you want. Right here is Crypto Bull XRP right here saying, looking at the different XRP channels that you see here, right? and the history of this monthly chart, we find $7.20 as price target on top of the retracement channel, which is right here in the middle, the retracement channel where this retraced to, right? And it says $250 on the top of the overextension channel at the top here. I will definitely take some profits around $6 to $7, he says. I might even take a shallow bag at that level. We'll see. But I'll tell you this, I am absolutely here for what I believe can happen. And it is the adoption and use of XRP in the financial system. Now, I have a shallow bag and then I have a deep, long-term bag that we have set up for ourselves, me and Mrs. Backup. But one thing I'll say is look, I'm here for the ride. I've never tried to say, when this is going to happen, but I can tell you that I had a 3 to 5 year assessment to this investment when I got in at 2017, and I've looked at it 5 years in, and there isn't a damn thing to me that says I should get up and run. And that's not financial advice from me. It's just my digital perspectives. This is getting better all the time. I'll catch all of you on the next one.